Hey guys, today I want to start reading a book to you called Giant Squid, Searching for a Sea Monster. This is written by Mary M. Cerullo and Clyde F. E. Roper. Here we have the title page where we see the title once again and our authors along with the publisher. We open up and we see our table of contents. So if when we got done reading this book, if we wanted to go back and read again about how we could follow the food maybe to find the squid, then it helps us to figure out what page to go to. I also wanted to show you on this side, we see a dedication from the authors, as well as other information as far as photo credits, who they're giving credit to for a lot of these photographs, editorial credits, as well as the publishing year and the publisher. Great illustration there. A creature of colossal size. Without warning, a gigantic, twisting tentacle bursts out of a dark sea. As flexible as a human hand, it snatches a sailor from the deck of a ship. A single scream pierces the night. The sailor and the creature are gone. When the seas are still largely uncharted, sailors and fishermen told stories like this about a mythic monster of the deep. Norwegian sailors described a spider-like creature as big as an island. Its long arms could wrap around the mast of a ship and drag it to the bottom of the ocean. Or the monster could create a gigantic whirlpool as it dove back into the depths, pulling the ship down with it. Sailors and storytellers called the creature the Kraken. Drawings of this mysterious beast bore a strong resemblance to what we now know as the giant squid. In 1874, a newspaper account of an actual encounter between a ship's crew and a giant sea creature inspired the French author Jules Verne to revise a book he was writing. As the paper reported, a sea captain claimed that he had ordered his crew to fire on a many-armed sea monster, which he believed was trying to climb aboard his ship. Riddled with rifle bullets and weighed down by cannonballs, the beast finally sank beneath the waves. Verne pulled this tale to work in fiction. An attack on Captain Nemo and the crew of the Nautilus by a squid of colossal size became the most famous scene in Verne's book, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And that has also been made into a movie. Early clues. Eventually, these bizarre creatures, or at least evidence of them, began to show up in more than just seafarers' tales. In the 1700s and 1800s, many captains of whaling ships were amateur naturalists, people who study nature. They recorded what they observed in their ship's logs. Some of these captains hunted sperm whales, the largest toothed whales that ever lived. When they hauled their catch on board, they often noticed strange circular scars on the whale's head and jaws. These scars suggested a fierce wrestling match with some enormous beast. But what creature could take on a 70-ton whale? In 1861, a French warship encountered a sea monster. The sailors harpooned it several times, but only succeeded in hauling up the back end of the beast. However, there was enough to identify their prize as a giant squid, and that's what you see here in this photograph. Here is that large sperm whale that it talked about those fishermen going after. Inside the stomachs of the whales was another mystery, waxy balls of a smelly substance called ambergris. These oily lumps are made by the digestive juices of whales. Ambergris coats any hard object a whale swallows that could irritate its stomach. In the center of the lumps, sailors found what looked like large bird beaks. So here is an example. Fresh ambergris from a whale's stomach stinks, but over time it mellows out into an attractive fragrance used in expensive perfumes. I hope my husband does not buy me a jar of that. And so it's showing you that the beaks are actually found within this, and they give us a little picture here and ask us the question, did sperm whales eat birds? Observant whaling captains finally figured out the source of both the round scars and the sharp beaks. They came from squids. The sailors had eaten many types of small squids, which were plentiful on the sea. They knew that a squid has powerful suction cups on its arms and tentacles and a sharp beak inside its mouth. As it battled the whale, a very large squid could have wrapped its arms around the whale's jaws to try to fight off its attacker and escape. The many beaks inside the sperm whale stomachs revealed that most squids lost the fight. The largest beaks, the size of a man's fist, and the round scars as big as hockey pucks could have come only from giant squid. Here we have a caption with our picture. Before scientists knew the actual size of giant squid, artists imagined they might be as big as sperm whales. Where would a sperm whale and a giant squid meet? Whaling captains harpooned sperm whales when these marine mammals came to the surface to breathe. Little did the sailors know that the whales regularly dived down to 4,000 feet, 1,200 meters, or even deeper. It's there in the deep ocean that the sperm whales encounter their favorite meal, giant squid. Here's a great photograph that we can see the giant squid's beak. It's made of chitin, and it's similar to crab or lobster shells. And here's a picture of those round scars embedded on a sperm whale's soft skin, revealed that the giant squid suckers were rimmed with sharp, small teeth. Great photographs there and great captions. Occasionally, a dying giant squid was hauled up in a fishing net, or pieces of giant squid would wash ashore. In 1873, Newfoundland fishermen caught what they called a sea monster and showed it to their local clergyman, the Reverend Moses Harvey. In those days, ministers often served as the local experts on scientific as well as spiritual matters. The Reverend Harvey persuaded the fisherman to give him the remains of the squid, which he draped over a bathtub and put on display. It was the first complete giant squid specimen known to science. So here's that picture. And here they have a caption, and it says left, so we know it's talking about the picture to the left. I'll show you the opposite page in just 1 second. So the Reverend Moses Harvey put this sea monster on display by carefully draping it over a bathtub to show off its many arms and tentacles. On the opposite page, it says many giant squid washed up on the shores of eastern Canada in the late 1800s. So why do giant squids sometimes wash up on shore? Scientists know that sometimes deep, cold ocean currents change their course, moving closer to the surface. Animals that normally live in the depths, including giant squid, may be transported by wayward currents into new territory, often to warmer, shallower water closer to land. There, the dramatic differences in water temperature can kill deep-sea animals. Scientists suspect that these conditions existed at the times when dead giant squid washed ashore off the eastern coast of Canada. Here's actually a giant squid that washed up on a New Zealand beach back in 1984. Meet the squid hunter. Despite the stories of giant squid attacking ships, scientists have learned that these beasts rarely emerge from their home at 1,600 to 3,300 feet, or 500 to 1,000 meters below sea surface. Even today, almost no humans have gone where giant squid reside, and sightings of these giants at the surface are rare and mysterious events. This mystery helped inspire one person who made it his life's work to find and study these creatures. Here we see Clyde Roper, giant squid hunter. It began with snails. As a child, Clyde Roper spent hours following narrow trails along the seashore in New Hampshire. The trails led him to a tiny snail, a periwinkle, plowing through the wet sand on its slimy foot. Clyde didn't realize until years later that these tracks in the sand were the first clues in his hunt for the giant squid. Snails and squids are related. They belong to the same group, mollusks, which means soft-bodied animals. Some, such as periwinkles, have shells to retreat into. Others, such as squids, do not. And here's an example of a periwinkle and its trail, just like the ones that Clyde followed as a child. But who needs a shell when you have nifty ways to escape predators and capture food? A squid can make a quick escape, using jet propulsion. It shoots water out of its body through a funnel to rocket backward, like a balloon settling releasing air. A squid is an aggressive hunter equipped with 8 arms and 2 long feeding tentacles that it keeps tucked between its arms until it's ready to strike. Then the squid shoots out the tentacles to capture its prey and drag it to the sharp beak inside its mouth. So you notice here with this structure, they ask us a question and then they give us an answer here to help us better understand exactly how the squid uses these tentacles. Here's a great diagram. We see labels to help us understand each part. And then here's a little picture that's giving us another example of some mollusks. Some mollusks have shells, others do not. Nudibranches have another way to protect themselves, such as secreting acid to discourage an attacker. Nudibranches are really cool organisms. In college, Clyde studied the group of mollusks called cephalopods, a word that means head-footed. He learned all he could about the many types of squids and their relatives, octopuses, cuttlefishes, and chambered nautiluses. Each member of this group has a flexible body with big eyes and a mouth surrounded by many arms. Octopuses have 8 arms. Squids and cuttlefishes have 8 arms plus 2 tentacles. But the chambered nautilus holds the record with 80 to 100 arms. Cephalopods are the most complex group of mollusks. The head contains the brain and large eyes, and the body holds the animal's organs. Heart, most have 3 hearts, kidneys, liver, stomach, and gills. The gills take oxygen from the seawater as it passes through them, allowing squids and octopuses to breathe. Like other cephalopods, the giant squid has suction cups to grab onto things. The giant squid suckers are surrounded by small, sharp teeth that dig into the flesh of its prey. Its sharp beak has proven strong enough to bite through steel cable. So, I like how this page is laid out. We see the word cephalopods. They give us the definition there. And then it has these little dotted arrows that are going over to different examples. So here we see the chambered nautiluses. Here is our cuttlefish, squid, and octopus. Why then does the sperm whale always have the advantage in a contest with the giant squid? It's because the sperm whale's mouth is ideal for capturing soft-bodied prey. It has teeth only in the bottom jaw. Those huge cone-shaped teeth fit snugly into sockets in the upper jaw. This way, the squid can hold on to victims that have no bones or shells. A giant squid doesn't stand a chance. And here's a close-up view of that. This bottom jaw of the whale with those teeth, and we can see here in the top jaw, those little sockets that those teeth fit into nicely. So I'm going to stop right there. We'll pick up tomorrow, and we're going to be reading about Architeuthis, the chief squid.